All right, you're sitting at your desk. There's a bunch of activity going on. You're listening in. You hear your team member on the phone with a prospect and even a potential life insurance client. And you're listening to the conversation. You only hear one side of it. And you keep saying to yourself, make the pivot, make the pivot, make the pivot. And the phone hangs up and they never made the pivot. Why does that happen? It's frustrating. It's exhausting for you. It's exhausting for your team member. Also, it's exhausting for that person on the other end of the phone call. It's Rob Z coming at you this week, and I want to talk a little bit about why you and your team members may struggle to make the pivot to a life insurance conversation. Okay, here's, in my experience, most people try to pivot that conversation from a very transactional type of business. They're trying to transition from an auto quote or a fire quote or some P&C thing. And it's a very detail-oriented, very transactional, very if-then, very commonsensical, very easy to get all the information that you need in order to find a yes to locking down that policy. When it comes to life insurance, it's a little bit of a different game. It's a more intimate conversation. And where it stems from is you or your team member may just lack the confidence to get out of your own way and stop worrying about yourself and stop worrying about your paycheck and start being more concerned with how you can best serve your client. How can you best serve that person on the other end of the phone? See, most agents, most team members, they try to treat a life insurance conversation just like they do a P&C conversation, where it's all about numbers and it's all about premium and it's all about auto withdrawal and all these tiny minuscule details that don't actually do anything to enhance the quality of life, except for know that they get a 3-ring binder or a piece of paper or a little card that goes in their glove compartment that makes them feel a bit better. When you're pivoting to life insurance, you need to find a pain point. And this is the thing, there's not a lot of pain points with numbers. You need to get to the emotional pain point that client of yours is feeling. Help them uncover what that is. Help them really get clear on how much of a pain point that is, and help them know that your job is to help move them away from what that pain is and towards something that feels much better. So know that. Stop having conversations about the details. Stop having conversations about the numbers. Stop having conversations about the coverage. Those are not interesting conversations. Those are no different than talking about the weather when you're at a party. Right? You ever notice it's really easy to talk about the weather? Is that lowest hanging fruit, lowest common denominator, easiest thing to talk about? It's because everybody understands the weather. Everybody understands the context. Most people know what hot and cold and sunny and cloudy and rainy is. So it's really easy to find that level that you can talk to them. But no productive conversation ever happens about the weather. The same thing goes when you're trying to pivot to a life insurance important conversation, but you're in the mindset of details and the weather, you're going to have a really hard time. So again, recap. Stop focusing on the numbers, the details. Go a little bit deeper. Ask better questions and position yourself to where you can provide a ton of value to that client of yours so that you can have an exceptional conversation. Hey, if this content hit home or resonated with you, absolutely hit like, hit subscribe. We're going to be dropping a lot more content like this in some future videos. So make sure you're following this channel. Also, throw a comment down below. Am I way off? Am I spot on? Like, where have you seen situations where you or your team struggle to pivot that conversation? I can't wait to hear from you.